So George, I'm sitting here holding your book, What a Great Question, a handbook for taking control of your life.
Mm-hmm.
And so...
Sounds very corny.
No, it's pretty cool. If you're online in digital format, it's how to take control of your brain. But in reading through your books again, a couple of things have really popped out to me. So in your preface on page 4, you say the ability to ask great questions is one of the most profound yet simple skills we can ever learn. Tell me about it.
It's interesting because it's a profoundly simple concept, because it's all about internal conversation, but it's extremely difficult to do because it requires a fair bit of self-awareness and self-evaluation, reflectiveness. But the effects of it can also be quite profound. Let me explain it this way. If I've done this in conferences where, we're trying to get people to understand the effect of what you can control through the language you use and the words you use. So I'll tell people, have a look around the room, take notice and make a list of everything you see that is blue. Mm-hmm. So they'll scan around the room, they get all the blue stuff, and they turn back and you say, okay, tell me what you see that was purple. And people go, well, I wasn't looking for anything that's purple. And therein lies the clue, in that the question that was posed to your brain caused your brain, and you to consciously search for something to the exclusion of everything else.
I did this activity again yesterday. Yeah. And even though I know it and I've read it before, I still did the same thing.
Yeah.
And
we filter the world. We
totally do.
Yeah. It's this filtering process that we, through generally in a reactive way, just filter out some stuff and we let some stuff come in, which in many cases, it's an important thing because you can't take everything in, right? So it's an important part of survival. It's an important part of, you making decisions based on experience, etc. But the problem with it is, in many cases, it's actually a bad thing because we've got habits around internal conversation. Mm-hmm. So, for example, something can happen and then we filter out everything about it that relates to learnings and good things, and then only take notice of the things we don't like.
Yeah.
So, the rain comes down while you're painting the car. So your brain is immediately taken out anything of value and it's just looking for all the things you don't like. Oh my God, now the paint's all wet and I've got to redo this.
You see it all the time where people washing their cars and then it rains. Right. That's just an ingrained thing for most people. I've washed the car, it's going to rain now. Yeah. It's always going to rain when I wash it. Yeah, absolutely.
That's why I say to people, in certain circumstances, you want to take control if you want to empower yourself. Like the word power, if you look at the origins of that word, it means to be able to, right? It relates to ability. It comes from the Latin term, oh man, I'm testing myself now, perere or something like that, P-O-R-E-R-E. But it means to be able. And the point I make to people, if you want to empower yourself in situations where you need to be empowered, like, a problem's confronted you or an event's occurred or something like that, then you've got to get control of the filter, right? And if something goes wrong, your ability to be able to react to that in an empowering way is going to be enhanced by your ability to filter the right things. Yeah. So we exclude, you look at an event and you say, well, what have I learned from this? How does this make me stronger next time? How does this prepare me for the next event? Mm-hmm. You're empowered. Yeah. You're now able to do things in a much more effective way.
And so that's exactly what you're saying about that great questioning.
Yeah.
Either turns you into that empowering mode 100%. Or gives you a really negative experience.
Or disempowered. You lose your ability to do things through the conversation in your head. That's why I say the most effective coaches and practitioners, most effective coaches, counsellors, leaders are those who can pose the correct question to the audience.
Yeah.
Because it's that question that gets them to focus on the right things, And you know what? If you're a parent, man, get your head around this concept because, when your kids come up to you with problems, they go, and you haven't thought about this, you're going to impart your thinking patterns on those kids. Mm-hmm. Whereas, I have made a lifetime practice of this, and kids come up, we've got a problem, I go, well, what did you learn from it?
Yep. I know sometimes I've had to step back with my kids and go, I've really got to think about this and I've got to look at it in a different way so that I'm not putting my my history onto them and my experiences onto them, but letting them have that experience in their own way while trying to shape it into a positive aspect for them.
Yeah, I get it. I'm on board.
Yeah.
So profoundly simple thing, extremely difficult to learn.
Yeah.
You know, you need to be consciously aware and self-reflective, and profoundly significant impacts on what happens to people when the question is correct.
But I think that's the thing. It's just about being conscious and understanding it.
Yeah.
And if you're not reading a book like this or being conscious of it, you just go about your day and your life in the way that you always have.
Yeah. People ask me, how do you do it? And I go, read that book 50 times.
Yeah.
They go, you're joking, aren't you? I go, no, I've read it 50 times.
Yep.
I read it 50 times writing it. You know, and that's 50 times after doing it 1,000 times.
And I think the thing is, you get something more each time. You get that next layer that you're ready for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gems.